Hello everyone and welcome to this month's episode of JigRetro, where we are looking at Doom-style first-person shooters. If you enjoy this content, then please check out some of my videos in my back catalogue, as well as like, share and subscribe to get the latest monthly episodes. First-person shooters originate from Wolfenstein 3D, with the first to really hit the mainstream being Doom. After playing a bit of catch-up with PC gaming, then the 32-bit conversions of Doom were inevitable. Playing through the first-person perspective through the eyes of the main character really added atmosphere and the intensity into these games. And I'm sure although they seem tame by today's standards, they really got the pulse racing as you traverse these levels not knowing what was around each corner. These games mostly focus on action and fast-paced combat, but there are also some minor puzzles and problem solving, mostly revolving around finding and utilising multiple coloured keys. I've decided to focus this episode specifically on PlayStation original games of this genre, as this is the console that I own most of these early examples on. With that said, I'm pretty sure you can find some sort of conversion of Doom or Duke Nukem on any console up until this day. Doom released in December 1995 for the PlayStation 1, but was actually released 2 years earlier for MS-DOS by ID Software, and was originally released as shareware, with one episode consisting of 9 levels. 2 further episodes could be purchased separately and was distributed via mail order. This game is considered one of the greatest video games of all time, and it is estimated to have been played by up to 20 million people within the first 2 years of its release. It's even created its own genre within first-person shooters called Doom clones. It caused quite the controversy due to its violent nature and hellish imagery. Mincing up Hellspawn with a chainsaw is very fun though. Like many games of this type in these days, although you wander through a 3D environment, enemy sprites are presented in 2D, with some created using stop motion and clay models, which were photographed from different angles and digitised into the game. Ammunition, health and armour are all available as pickups. There are 6 weapons total, including a knuckle duster, a chainsaw, a pistol, a plasma rifle, and the BFG 9000. The music in the game fits the style well and is based mostly in the metal and industrial genres, with some ambient moments developing the atmosphere. The PlayStation port is generally considered as the best, as it has some fantastic little additions that take nothing away from the original, including a more fleshed out soundscape, which at times can make gameplay super scary. Improved lighting on the whole, although I personally feel that the game runs quite dark, but nothing that a few tweaks on the television settings doesn't sort out. And some nice distant background animations when looking out of windows in certain areas. And finally, on its hardest difficulty setting, a few enemies from the game's sequel Doom 2 appear, adding a new dynamic for those already familiar with the original. Alien Trilogy was released in March 2006, developed by Probe and published by Acclaim. It is based on the popular film franchise. I feel that the game fits the license well, although apart from enemies and a few cutscenes, there is actually very little that links this game specifically to each movie in the trilogy. This game features motion capture in order to create the enemies found in the game, a feature that was hyped a lot by Acclaim back in the day, which in ways led to some disappointment. With that said, I both really enjoyed this game at the time and still can have fun with it to this day. Specific mission objectives give a little more variety to the gameplay, although I must admit that while capturing this footage, I don't know how, but I found it way too easy to get lost in similar looking dark environments, which can lead to frustration. Disruptor is a PlayStation 1 exclusive released in December 1996, and it's the first game to be developed by Insomniac Games, famous for the Ratchet & Clank series as well as the PS4 Marvel Spider-Man and Miles Morales games. Originally intended to be developed for the Panasonic 3DO, midway through the development, producers acknowledged that the console was staring failure in the face and recommended switching the title to the Sony PlayStation. This game is one of my favourite games in this video and somewhat of a hidden gem for the system. While I certainly haven't heard many YouTubers talk about it, this game features some brilliant and cheesy B-movie style acting FMV sequences between levels, something that specifically ages this game, yet fun to check out retrospectively.
I say if we're calling it a game, we're still not ready for a mission.
Are you kidding me? Man, I haven't missed one trick.
Not even that hidden stuff. I'm ready to go.
The levels are much brighter than many Doom clones of the time, and the game just feels like it runs really smooth graphically. The soundtrack is affected by your situation, ramping up the intensity at perfect times. Standing apart from other similar games is the psionics mechanic, which gives the player special abilities that reminds me of a game released much later in BioShock. On the whole, at the time, this game was critically praised, but the next game I'm going to discuss had already been available for MS-DOS for some time and was released for the PS1 just 9 months after. The hype soon took the shine away from this fantastic title. Duke Nukem, released in September 1997 and developed by 3D Realms, is definitely considered one of the heavy hitters, right alongside Doom and Wolfenstein 3D for popularising this genre. This game takes the genre to the next level with much more interactive and destructible environments. The stages also take place on a large variety of levels. In fact, later in the game you can even gain a jetpack, allowing you to access previously inaccessible areas of the map. Light switches can be switched on, water fountains can be drunk from, and you can even give tips. This game is morally questionable at times, as so many things were at this time in pop culture, from Beavis and Butthead to Jerry Springer to the WWF Attitude Era. Duke's quips often have more than a resemblance to other popular movies from the time, including They Live, Aliens, Dirty Harry, Evil Dead 2, Full Metal Jacket and Jaws. This game is really fun to play to this day, and much like Doom, it has been ported to pretty much every system, making it really easy to find and play, even on current systems. Quake II, released for the PC in December 1997, made its way to the PlayStation in September 1999. This potentially isn't a Doom clone, as it is a full 3D first-person shooter, but on the subject I feel that this game brings it full circle with the return of developers ID Software, responsible for developing Doom. The soundtrack is mostly provided by Sonic Mayhem, while the main theme was composed by Bill Brown and Rob Zombie. Mission-based objectives help the story of the game along, and enemies show physical wounds from damage inflicted. As fun as the single player is in this game, what stands out for me is the epic deathmatch multiplayer. Me and friends spent countless hours with this back in the day, and to be honest was as close as PlayStation owners ever got to the simply epic GoldenEye multiplayer feature. My personal nostalgia for this game was one of the main reasons that it was one of the first games I picked up when I started my video game collecting journey. The game critically was rightly highly praised. One of the games I'd like to discuss before signing off is Ion Fury, released in May 2020 for PS4, Switch and Xbox One. This time produced by 3D Realms of Duke Nukem fame and developed by Void Point and General Arcade. This cyberpunk first-person shooter uses the same engine as Duke Nukem 3D. This game is a fantastic throwback and I highly recommend playing to anyone even remotely intrigued by the Doom clone genre. I'm currently playing this game after picking it up physically for the Switch, and although it is already pretty tough, I'm really enjoying it. Many thanks for watching. Please feel free to comment down below on any Doom clones that you think I've missed, or your experiences with first-person shooters on the PlayStation 1. Until next month, much love, please look after yourselves and each other and get your geek on with JigRetro.